Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wally Global. Today is April 26, 2025. A few moments ago, media outlets in Singapore and Hong Kong reported that China's restaurant industry is aggressively expanding into Singapore, sparking fierce competition. Last year, Singapore experienced a serious wave of restaurant closures. Over 3,000 restaurants shut down. And this year, the situation hasn't improved. In just 1 month, around 300 restaurants closed, more closures than openings. So, is the arrival of this fierce competition from China a good thing or a bad thing for Singapore? Should we be worried about rising rents and pressures on local businesses? Let's dive into today's news and explore together. Before we begin, I kindly invite you to subscribe to my channel. It's completely free. Feel free to leave a comment, like the video, and share it with your friends to help support the channel.
Thank you for your support.
Regarding the current situation in Singapore, according to Singapore media, the restaurant industry hit rock bottom in 2024. Data from Singapore's Accounting and Corporate Regulatory Authority, reported by CNA, shows that 3,047 restaurants closed last year, the highest number in 20 years, worse than even 2005. And 2025 is shaping up to be even tougher. In 2024, an average of 307 restaurants closed each month, compared to 254 per month in 2023 and 230 in 2022. This wave of closures spared no one, from small food stalls to Michelin-starred restaurants like Art di Daniele, Sperindio Sommer and Brazzi. Singapore's reputation as a food capital is now under serious threat. Let's talk about the role of Chinese restaurant brands. Quoting an article from the Hong Kong Economic Journal, the biggest driver behind this wave of closures is the intense competition brought by restaurant brands from mainland China. In recent years, more and more Chinese brands have expanded into Singapore, such as hot pot chain Shamoon Hot Pot, tea brands Mixu Ice Cream and Tea, and Cha-Ji, each opening multiple branches across the city. These brands are heavily funded, willing to pay sky-high rents to secure prime locations. They are pushing up rental costs, labor costs, and other operating expenses, making it extremely hard for local restaurants to survive. CNA also analyzed that after China's domestic consumption slowed down, investors turned to Southeast Asia, especially Singapore and Malaysia, as new growth markets, partly thanks to the China-Hong Kong Free Trade Agreement and wider geopolitical shifts. You may ask, why is this called involutionary competition? This kind of competition is often described as involutionary because it's not just fierce, it's destructive. Chinese brands burn cash with high rents, extravagant renovations, and aggressive promotions, including unsustainably low prices to attract customers. For example, if a local restaurant pays SGD 20,000 a month in rent, Chinese brands are willing to offer SGD 30,000 or even SGD 40,000 to take over the lease. Naturally, landlords prefer tenants who pay more. In this sense, they are not rent bullies in the traditional sense of refusing to pay. Rather, they flood the market with money, forcing local businesses out. Labor competition is equally brutal. Chinese brands offer high salaries to chefs and staff, leaving local restaurants struggling to hire workers. In short, this wave of Chinese-style involution has dramatically disrupted Singapore's restaurant scene. You may ask, why is this called involutionary competition? This kind of competition is often described as involutionary because it's not just fierce, it's destructive. Chinese brands burn cash with high rents, extravagant renovations, and aggressive promotions, including unsustainably low prices to attract customers. For example, if a local restaurant pays SGD 20,000 a month in rent, Chinese brands are willing to offer SGD 30,000 or even SGD 40,000 to take over the lease. Naturally, landlords prefer tenants who pay more. In this sense, they are not rent bullies in the traditional sense of refusing to pay. Rather, they flood the market with money, forcing local businesses out. Labor competition is equally brutal. Chinese brands offer high salaries to chefs and staff, leaving local restaurants struggling to hire workers. In short, This wave of Chinese-style involution has dramatically disrupted Singapore's restaurant scene. The two sides of the story, of course, we should look at this from different angles. Higher rents are good news for landlords. Higher wages benefit workers. Cheaper offer for consumers. From this perspective, it's not entirely negative and it's part of a natural market competition. But the downside is obvious. Smaller, independent, and traditional local restaurants are the ones paying the price. A real-world example is Wine RVLT, a well-known bar that operated for 8 years on Carpenter Street. Despite their loyal customer base and strong reputation, they had no choice but to shut down when their lease expired in August 2024. Their owner explained to the media, "Rent, utilities, labor, and goods costs all increased sharply, yet customer spending stayed flat and there was no room to raise prices." They posted an emotional farewell on Instagram, admitting that despite their best efforts, the harsh environment made it impossible to continue. This story is a clear example of how rising costs and involutionary competition have pushed many beloved local businesses to the brink. Singapore once proudly called itself the food capital of Asia, but with the current wave of closures, that title is under threat. Food influencer Seth Lui even warned that if this trend continues, Singapore could lose its unique local food culture, leaving only Chinese restaurants and fast food and chain stores behind. When high rents drive out independent restaurants and hawker centers, Singapore's culinary diversity, where its true strength, could be lost. We may say this is food capital in crisis. Interestingly, Hong Kong faces a similar situation, though perhaps even more severe. Due to the convenience of traveling north to mainland China, Hong Kongers often prefer to spend across the border. As a result, around 300 restaurants in Hong Kong close down every month, while only less than 200 new ones open. Both Hong Kong and Singapore share the same challenges: high rents, high costs, and shrinking local consumption. The situation in Singapore is complex. Yes, competition drives progress, but involutionary competition fueled by massive subsidies and unsustainable tactics can destroy the ecosystem before it has a chance to adapt. Will the Singapore government step in with measures to protect its local food culture? Could designated zones for local cuisine or rental support be the answer? These are questions worth discussing. Thank you for watching today's episode of Wally Global. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.